Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is
What, episode 7 now?
I think it's like 8. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Session 8.
Session 8, but for them it'll be
Probably like episode like
2.
3.
No,
Yeah.
3.
Something. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
No, 4.
I don't fucking. We're doing all this shit out of order. We probably said that every single fucking time, but yeah, this is like all out of order.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what's I guess what's fucking big in the news right now? I don't know.
Well, actually, what's going on with you guys? Like, I honestly, how long has it been since the last time we met up at the
It
table?
hasn't been too long.
It hasn't been too long. It's been, I think, 3
Before the
weeks.
before the computer. Before
That's
the computer
true.
was built.
True.
That was like almost a month ago now.
Damn, bro.
Maybe a month. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Did not realize.
Yeah, time goes by, dude. Because we're working. Everybody's working full
Right.
time.
Oh yeah.
jobs.
I had to not come here for like what was it, like 2 times just because of work.
Yeah, I got sick
Yeah.
one week. Yeah, like that shit sucked, dude. I had a fever dream one Wednesday.
Oh shit.
Like I woke like
Is that-
I went to bed at, like, I work second shift. I get home at fucking, I'm, like, because I have a half-hour commute. I got home at midnight, walked through the door. I was already feeling like shit on Tuesday and Monday, the days before. I go to bed at my normal time. I took some multivitamins. I was like, oh, I'll be fine. I just got to get through one more day, and then it's, Wednesday's my Friday. So I go to bed at, like, 3:30. I woke up at 8 from a fever dream. I didn't know I was even dreaming, dude. It was weird, too. Woke up. I was like, there's no way I'm going in. I texted my boss. I'm like, hey, I gotta call out. I'm fucking dying. But then I had to call one of my buddies, Zach. I was like, hey, can you bring me soup? He brought me like 3 cans of soup and a Gatorade. Zach.
Oh, Zach.
Yeah,
That's nice of him.
he's a sweet boy. I
He's
love
a
him.
sweet boy. He's a sweet boy.
Help me out, dude. It's cool because we're 10 minutes away from each other. He lives over in that town over there.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, that one. So
It's not repeating the same mistakes.
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, so yeah, he's right over there, so it's really easy for us to fucking see each other. But yeah, but I mean, so you got a job since then, actually, since our last work session.
Really?
No, I think
that
he actually already started
I
that
might have just not said anything. Yeah. Well, first, I've had a job. I was working at a pizza place in my
I
town.
knew that.
Yeah.
I knew that, but you got a new job.
Sorry, what? Yeah, that place fucking sucked. Oh, I can say that now. Yeah, fuck that place. Yeah.
You worked there for years, though.
Yeah, but fuck that place.
Oh, yeah,
Fucking-
fuck them.
Dude,
Yeah.
I was working there under the table. Dude.
Billy, working at a place and liking the place where you work are 2 different things. I like money. I need food. I like eating. I like not starving.
Right.
I mean,
You like having a car.
All
You
my
like having
friends
gas
also
money.
work there.
So okay, I liked majority of the people. Okay, majority of the people there were some of the nice people you meet. I fucking love them, right? And I also like getting money, but management sucked dick. Oh my god!
Have you noticed?
So bad.
I feel like I've noticed a trend in the workforce, and I hate to say it because it's my generation. I'm a millennial. I just had my 29th birthday. Yeah,
Nice.
I'm fucking almost 30. It's my last It was my last birthday in my 20s. It's always the people who are like in their mid-30s running shit into the ground. Sometimes I have a good manager in their 30s. But the amount of people in my generation who do not know, it's like their management style is like, it's like it's oppositional to the previous generation. Like, my boss when I was younger was an asshole. But yeah, guess what? That company ran efficiently. The decisions were smart. They didn't care about your feelings. Like, it was just work.
At the place I was working at, though, they didn't care about your feelings, but also they were just making, like, bad decisions.
Well, I feel like this place... let me rephrase.
I feel like that's the way it is now, yeah.
Well, this place, they pretend to care about your feelings. Like, at least, like, don't jerk me off. Like, I don't need you to pretend you care. In reality, you don't. That's the way it seems to me. Like, it's like how liberals are. They stand on, like, a fake moral high ground. Like, it's just how they are. It's like they don't actually care about the problem.
You're kind of right, actually, funny enough, yeah.
It's a fake moral high ground. They just are...
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, there's problems on both sides. I'm not, like... Alright, like... Republicans have their own issues. I'm not getting into that, but the people at least in I could say Connecticut, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the people in Connecticut, like, because this is such a left-leaning state, it's very...
Isn't that left-leaning?
It is notoriously.
I feel most of the people... It's funny, most of the people that I meet personally, they fucking love Trump.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I agree.
is
Well, hold on.
is
It's
a
not
mixed
just
area.
Hold on. This area is a mixed area, but when you go to other counties, it's more right. Like if you go to Litchfield, Tallinn, any of the other counties, really, like Fairfield is all rich people.
Right.
They're Republicans.
But then
make no mistake about
there's
that.
big parts of Connecticut that are like Hartford.
Hartford County, but Hartford County's mixed.
Yeah, it is mixed. You're right,
So,
but
like,
it's
I-
overall
I-
we turn out to be a blue state.
I just feel like state by state, there's certain states that are just like fixed. I don't know. I don't know how much I trust the vote. I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist, so like I just feel like they lie to us.
I feel like
Well, hey, I'm pretty serious. If someone broke into my house, I'm just
but
also
you would be like
giddy.
Okay, you would be like, you know what?
You literally
Let's do this.
Can we please say what you said earlier? Like,
That's a little far even for the podcast. That's go on YouTube. We don't want to get demonetized.
sure enough.
True enough.
Well, okay, don't go that far. Just give it the gist.
Oh, if somebody broke into my house, we're sitting here at the table, maybe, or maybe
Yeah.
let's actually go further. I'm by myself. I'm a single person. I live in my own apartment, and I live on the first floor. So technically, and I don't lock my door because I'm very welcoming. So somebody walks in my apartment, like, oh, you can close the door. Come on in, take a seat.
Yeah.
So, what are you doing here? I know nobody knows you're here, so take a seat. Stay a while.
Yeah, I know. It's so funny. You said before, it's like someone comes in my house. You're like, oh, no, stay for dinner. You know,
Stay for dinner. My dog is hungry. I'm
fucking Tiger King over here. Fed him to the fucking wolf dog. Yeah.
Yep. And I'm out. Because people don't scare me. That's the thing. What does scare me is like there's only one group of people that actually scares the bejesus out of me, and it is that top 1%. Because of
the rich. Yeah.
Because of what? Because of
the
how
Homelander.
It's how little they have to put in effort to be able to do either great good or great evil. It requires very little effort on their end. They can do phenomenal things with very little effort, but likewise that means they can also do the opposite. They have a lot of ability, and that I don't trust. I don't want, like, people are very anti-gun, right? It's because they don't want someone having that kind of power at their disposal. I'm very pro-gun. But there are people who are anti-gun, and their argument is because they don't believe people should have that kind of power at their disposal. Well, likewise, I don't think there should be people with arguably more ability at their disposal, which is money. But that kind of power, that kind of sway. It's not even just the money, but it's the connections they have, the ability
money and connections is actually more powerful than like
a gun.
Like, yeah.
It's by far. Like, if I wanted to dump radioactive waste in a lake and hide it, but it'll, like, that will still kill a bunch of people, I can do that if I'm in their position. And I bet you they do stuff like that.
Yeah, funny enough, it's funny how you mentioned that. That's where my brain went to the same place. Like, we talk about, like, violent crime. Like, like, if you carjack someone, you have some serious, like, prison time, potentially.
Yeah, Grand Theft Auto. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you defraud, if you think about what are the damages of carjacking, well, it's violent. You force someone to get out of their car and then stole their car.
Right.
It's violent. Yes, okay, but if you did something kind of like what Adam said, where you're in a company and your company cut quarters when they weren't supposed to, and you guys poisoned people, and then a bunch of people got cancer from that poisoning, or got sick.
Anything,
right?
really.
Anything, yeah. And they have a bunch of medical conditions. Well, like, depending on how far you went, it's like
it's almost no accountability sometimes.
Yeah, if the executives get any sort of punishment. Like right now, with a lot of the times the executives don't even get punished because of how corporations work. So basically how corporations work, when the corporation fucks up, the corporation gets punished. But you can't put a corporation in prison, obviously. Right. So they only get fees.
And they also like there's a huge example when it comes to that too. So back in the day, remember the anti-smoking campaign and how like a lot like they finally were able to sue tobacco companies years ago.
Yeah.
Well, the lawsuits went through, and one of the companies I forgot what it was. It was a huge hit for back then too. It was like $25 billion, which a company back then could not take a direct hit like that.
Right.
But what the court did was they're like, oh, you can pay it out over 10 years. Well, now it's nothing.
Yeah.
Now it's like you can do that.
Well, it might not be nothing.
No,
but
it's
to a corporation.
It's manageable.
I wouldn't say it's nothing, but it's definitely like they're fine.
Whereas like even if it's like there's a nonviolent crime, right? Say I do something, it's a nonviolent crime. If I get sued, they're not letting me pay that out over 10 years. They're making me pay that up front. Like they don't do that for us.
Well, you might not even have. Funny enough, you might not even have the capability.
Well, no, like say like I do something right, and I end up person.
They'll take your shit.
No, I'll have to declare bankruptcy for sure. They'll take all my shit, and
they start taking possessions.
Yeah, they'll literally make me pawn everything, any assets I have, like all gone. But I can't pay that out over 10 years. They would take it up. They're like, it's happening now.
Yeah.
Like we don't get the same treatment that they get, which is
exactly. Oh, I think our laws. This is gonna be a bit controversial. I think we need to revamp the laws in this country.
Oh, that's not controversial.
That's not controversial.
No,
thank goodness.
No. People hate the government.
How you revamp the laws? That's controversial.
That's different.
How you do it? It's always the how. Like you and I disagree on the how, tend to, but we also agree on a lot of things too. Let's be clear about that. Like education.
Yeah, that needs a complete
Well,
overhaul.
there's like those laws. I meant like
all laws.
How I believe that too. I think we need to revamp government in society as a whole. But I actually believe what I was actually talking about is like criminal law. What do you guys think about? I think we need to revamp criminal law. I don't think it's balanced.
For sure. I think like for example, pedophiles.
Right, it's like they get
too little time. They get 5, 10 years.
That's literally that's one of the worst crimes you can commit.
Yeah, but and you want to know why it's like that? I feel like this goes to my conspiracy theory brain, of course, but like I feel like the people who put those laws in place were also people who commit those crimes.
Dude, look, Epstein's
Island,
Dude, literally.
It's so to me that I can't see it any other way.
Yeah, like
higher class people are committing those types of crimes, and because it's like the classism, it's a really fucking huge problem all over the world, and in America especially. Yeah. And so it's like, what ends up happening? The prison sentences for those types of crimes that are of a higher class, they're light.
They're light.
All light. Fraud, wire fraud, they're light.
But fraud is what caused the housing market crash back in the day.
And no one got jail for that.
Nobody got jail for that. Because technically...
Not for the 2008 crash.
Technically it was going on a little bit before that. It just hit full steam in I think it was 2007. The 2008 recession was different. The housing market crash was 2007 or 2006, I think. But like my family, we ended up going homeless in 2005. It was happening before that. It just went on for years without them even really talking about it. And it's because the part of the reason why was because they like technically what they did was not illegal per se.
Well, no,
like even though technically it's fraud.
They're bending laws. They're finding loopholes.
It's not against the law to vote to invest against the American peoples. Essentially, you are allowed to invest against the common good. You're allowed to bet against.
But they were also the same ones encouraging people to take out.
So the fall would be bigger. Yeah, they were encouraging people to do that so they can make the fall bigger, where they can profit off of it. But did you watch that movie?
No,
you gotta watch that
movie.
Maybe
what movie?
The Big Short.
No,
you gotta watch that.
Never even heard of that.
I probably
it will anger you because you went homeless around that same time.
Yeah, seriously, yeah. I might have seen like clips of that movie. I probably have, but I should watch it. You're right. I mean, it's crazy. Like there's that one, and I do think. In situations like that, where it's like technically it's not illegal, we could as a society try to like I guess that fuck in that situation it might be like that's where we need better laws.
With that, so like, there's so many people who would argue. Like, keep in mind, I am a libertarian, but there's so many people who would argue that like, when you start getting into that territory with the economic laws, people are like, "Oh, that's socialism." It just gets chunked into socialism as opposed to just simple
That's
accountability.
stupid.
It kind of because like the idea in capitalism is
Yeah, it's like you're supposed to not
have those protections.
Right.
So that's kind of the thing.
True, and you're right. You're right.
So it's a very combative.
Yeah, recessions are a natural feature of capitalism. They happen in a way.
So are
Collapses
companies going bankrupt, and then
Exactly.
but instead we.
No.
Did it stop? Is
stop?
everything all right?
And it didn't, luckily. No.
Okay, we're recording.
Fucking
okay.
Loki, bro.
Can you someone grab him?
boy.
For the audience that doesn't know what happened, the cat has gone haywire. The cat just jumped onto Adam's laptop, but thankfully, it doesn't seem like
We're
anything
good?
bad happened.
We're good. We're
Okay.
good. Okay.
You want to like check your settings or something?
No, we're good.
Okay.
He didn't fuck with the audio box. All right.
Holy
funny.
fuck,
I was
man.
I saw that happen. I was
Yeah.
trying to stop it.
Like Loki? You insane. Loki is like, I'll just jump on this thing. Oh, it has like, what, these buttons thing? They
Yep.
Yeah.
So
whatever.
Yeah. So anyway. Yeah.
What the
So
fuck
like,
are we talking about?
We're talking about laws broadly. Specifically, we're talking about...
well, we were talking about Wall Street and economic laws and like how they affect like the capitalism socialism dynamic.
Yes.
So like I think it's just a really hard thing to combat. People you know how many people you meet who are like, no, I don't think there should be a maximum wage because I want to be a billionaire. Like, bitch, you're not going to be.
Yeah, you're never going to be a billionaire.
Like, if you're in the working class, you're stuck here.
Yeah.
Effectively. This ain't the 1950s or the 60s. Like, you don't have enough economic advantage. Like, technology is monopolized now, where you're not going to get ahead in, and if you do, you're not going to have the resources to actually manufacture that technology.
The only way to get ahead in like the technology sort of like business is literally just you're making like new shit.
You have to invent. You
literally have to invent. You have to be Steve Jobs.
Yeah.
Like it's fucking.
But they're not even inventors.
Yeah, a lot of they have a team of inventors.
Well, yeah, but you know what I mean. Where it's like it's like smartphones are fucking monopoly. It's so fucking iPhone or Samsung. That's it.
Go back to Bill Gates, because Bill Gates worked with Steve Jobs. That was their thing back in the day. It was Bill Gates, Steve Jobs. What was it? They were all working together on Windows, I think.
Yeah,
Probably.
they did work together in the beginning.
Yeah, they all worked together. But the thing about that whole thing was, they were working in Bill Gates' garage at Bill Gates' parents' place. But like Bill Gates, the only reason that shit took off, this is what he invented. He gave DOS, which was the old operating system, a facelift. That's it. That's all they did. And his parents knew the chairman of IBM. So it was who you know. And they sold that technology to him and gave him a job. That's it.
They're just right place, right time.
Right place, right time, right people. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
That's what happened with Bezos too, I'm pretty sure.
Bezos, he created Amazon when there was already a bunch of others, but he knew the right people to market it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There was one of the things I feel like we need to keep in mind when it comes to capitalism. It's a lot like natural selection.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like what it's fucking based on. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a lot of times in nature, there'll be like
an animal goes extinct.
An animal goes extinct, and then that allows for another animal
to fill that void.
Exactly. But then there's also luck. Which species gets to fill that void. There could be two species that are like kind of like they're both contenders. Very similar. Yeah. But then it could be down to one of them gets the right mutation through, mutations are random. But so there is luck in essentially how lucky you are with those mutations.
With our version of capitalism, there is no luck. It is strictly who you know and where you were born. So there is no luck. That luck is manufactured.
There is definitely you can get unlucky.
I feel like it's
in our brand, in our country. That's how it's in true capitalism. That's how it should work. It should work based on luck and intelligence. Straight up, how smart you are to be able to.
I was about to say merit. Yeah, actually, I think luck is bad. I actually don't like the luck factor.
Oh yeah, it's terrible.
As long as it exists,
it's really bad. That's the thing. But also, like, what are you gonna do about it? That's kind of just life.
A good example of how, like, so like in our situation, like, remember back in the day when Obama bailed out the automotive industry?
Yeah.
All right. So when that happened, technically what he did was actually damaging. First of all, we paid for a company to stay in business. Fuck you. That's our money. We didn't approve that spending.
But then that company does something for, it does something, provides, like, it's a part of our economy.
This is where I'm a capitalist. That company should have went under, but you want to know what would have happened? Elon Musk was already doing this thing back then. I don't like electric cars, but I do know how things work. The electric cars would have hit the market a lot sooner, and they'd probably be a lot further along because he would have filled that void.
That's a very interesting point there, Adam.
Yep.
I mean, in a way, that's where it
can be damaging.
It's funny. It's where it seems like a good idea. It seems like it would be great. Like, it's like
it's because you can't have foresight when it comes to the economy. Like I heard Neil deGrasse Tyson say this earlier. Someone asked him, "Where do you see us in the next 100 years?" He said, "I can't tell you where we're going to be in the next 30."
Can't tell you we're going to be in the next 5.
Yeah, like the way the world is now.
Yeah,
I have my predictions. I think we're going to be going to war in the next 5 years.
Right.
Personally.
Yeah, you can have predictions. Yeah,
definitely.
But it's hard.
We are long overdue for World War, bro.
Oh yeah, we're
long.
You guys really think we're gonna go into World War?
Yes, it's Ukraine, Palestine, like fucking dude.
Ukraine, Palestine, Taiwan.
I'm really hoping these things will kind of get solved.
No, there's so many fucking issues, and also we're incentivized to go. Not we. The rich people are incentivized to go to war. They make money off of it. There's no reason. There
is a war industry. That is true. But there's also a lot of people that don't want war. I don't know.
But they think about it like this: our government. You want to know what they really do? Why our government operates the way they do? So what they think about the cycle we're in. All right. Government picks a fight somewhere. Usually now, what we do since Vietnam has been like small wars here and there, occupations. So we run occupations in different areas, to spread freedom. And what we
of course.
So what we do is
we have to liberate them by invading them.
Yeah, we have to liberate them. So what we do is we send troops over there, we send money. So we have to buy weapons to do that. Weapons, ammunition, things like that. So the government pays these businesses for that. The businesses in turn lobby the politicians for more war. And so our politicians, they get free dinners, they get sometimes lump checks of a good amount of money to just keep going to war. And it turns into a cycle where these businesses grow and inflate because our government is funding them, but they're in turn funding the government. And that's just one aspect of how that works. Pharmaceutical industry kind of works the same way. People stay sick. Government invests and gives businesses continue the right to help make our people sick. And the pharmaceutical company makes more money and then keeps lobbying the government. We're basically caught in this negative cycle where we're just making bad decisions.
It's this unfortunate truth of, like, the highest form of government, they love war. Like, they really do. Look at our Federal Reserve. Can I say this real fast? Look at our Federal Reserve.
Fast, because I want to talk.
Okay, our Federal Reserve. Did you know a few years ago, about 10 years ago now, Jesus, time flies, I'm getting old, but the Federal Reserve came out. I'm getting old too. The Federal Reserve came out and showed that they actually had Nazi notes, meaning that our Federal Reserve, which is how Germany actually you want to know how Germany pulled themselves out of the depression they were in after World War I?
Go ahead.
So what they did was they got rid of their dollar that they had, and they adopted a new system, a new dollar, a new form of currency. And in order to do that, you need a central bank. Our Federal Reserve is not part of our government. They're an independent organization, and they're not even stationed. They're headquartered. They have some headquarters here, but their main headquarters is actually in Britain. Funny enough, the UK. So,
which is really stupid.
because it's not ours. They're a private organization. So Hitler, when he seized power, that was one of the things he did. He went to them and basically adopted them as so like if you want to look at it like this, the Federal Reserve sponsors our country's currency. They are in control of it. They print it. They manufacture it, and we owe them money for giving us money. So like we give them notes, they give us currency. So he gave them notes. They became Germany's sponsor. So the Federal Reserve was paying for both sides of the war and making money off both. Because when wartime happens, the Federal Reserve gets a lot of money because we take out more notes. We print more money. They make money off of us printing money because they print our money. So they were gaining wealth from not just the United States, but they were gaining money from Britain. They were gaining money from Nazi Germany. They were funding two fronts of the same war.
I see what you're saying. I'm not sure, like, they're making money?
They were printing Nazi money. Yes, they were Federal Reserve.
And that makes them richer?
That makes them... So this is how this works. The Federal Reserve, it works like this. Now, this doesn't account for fractional...
I was about to say,
fractional reserve
it might be
banking.
more complicated.
There is a lot of complications to it, but you can simplify it to this. So I go up to the Federal Reserve. Say we erase all the money. There's no more money. I go up to the Federal Reserve and I give them notes. Notes can be bought in a number of different ways. Back in the day when you were on a gold standard, on the gold standard, you would give them gold. They would print money representing that gold that you've given them. But at that same time, say I give them let's use $100 for this. Say I want $100 printed for I have to give them $120 worth of gold. So, but now we're on a credit scale.
Keep that 20%.
Yes. So they give us $100.
The money.
Yeah, they keep that 20% of that 20. They get $120 worth of gold. So they get that. So but now we're on a credit standard. So basically, they print us $100. We owe them $120 credited. So when you go, but the problem with the credit standard is how do you pay that back? So that's kind of how that works. Now back then they were on the gold.
Seems like it. Yeah, they're just getting more and more and more.
The system is
broken.
There's no end to it.
The system is literally broken.
So in order to pay them back, in modern times there's actually a huge contract that they have. You can pay them back in gold resources, but what qualifies as resources is very interesting because technically people are on that list. Technically, what the fuck? Yeah, technically human beings count as currency because it's old laws, it's old shit. So like you can pay them back in people technically. Now that gets in that gets into like conspiracy theories, but like yeah, technically it is the duty of the American people to pay back our debt. No, it's not our government's duty; it's our duty to pay them back.
It's the government's duty.
I believe that they're the ones taking out the fucking
duty by proxy.
Yeah, but they're more or less our lawyer. The lawyer doesn't serve time in prison. The lawyer, so they represent us just like a lawyer represents us in court.
Really quickly, I just wanted to clarify something that I said earlier. I believe that. I lost it.
Was it anything to do with like capitalism?
Yeah, it was. Oh, yeah. Okay. Even though here's the yes, I remember now. Okay, so basically, even though I do think that there are issues sometimes that can happen with essentially monitoring the economy and stuff like that, I do think it actually can be done where there's good outcomes and it's effective.
I want to believe in your optimism. A lot of people share in your optimism, but the problem is where they're sitting. They like when it's temptation. Temptation is one of those things that it's not a question of if, but when. someone will be tempted to sell to make a decision that is not in the interest of the American people, but for themselves and for the company that's benefiting them by extension. And that happens.
Yeah.
They fail at that more often than not.
That's a problem with the that is an issue. I believe that. I believe that our government is essentially...
Most people wouldn't deny that either. We know lobbying is a problem. Most people know this.
Yeah. Our government is corrupt, essentially, in many ways.
Well, yeah, they're failing at their main job, which is to help the American people, but all they care about are their benefactors.
I think if we mitigated that problem that we have of corruption.
So I came up with a suggestion in a previous podcast. What we should do is everybody serves with a politician, like a supervisor. Anytime they make a decision that is not for the American people, you can just like brandish your weapon, so to speak. Like, hey, you're not signing that bill in.
The only problem, of course, who are these people that are going to be like monitoring?
I'm more or less joking, but the reason why I'm saying that is because there is no way to do that, in my belief. I don't see a way to do that. I don't see a way to avoid corruption in that factor. I joke. That's my joking thing because I don't. Just like you wouldn't trust the person there, why would you trust the politician? See, I think we've been trained from a young age to trust in our politicians, but they're no different than the supervisor idea that I'm joking around with. Why would you trust that person with the gun telling the politician what to do? Instead, you think it's better to just trust the politician. That to me, it's the same. I wouldn't trust either of them. That's the joke behind it.
I see what you're saying, but I'm optimistic that that it is possible to create a rule set where there are hard rules, and within those hard rules, corruption is mitigated extensively.
I just don't see that you can create because people are trying to be progressive, right? Like back in the day in our early American politics, which I love, if somebody was holding up a bill that needed to get passed, you just beat the shit out of them. It was great. But then we got rid of that. We got rid of that. It was great in theory, but
can't beat the shit out of
you can't beat the shit out of your politicians anymore. They kind of need it, especially these old fuckers, like the 89-year-olds. I got one good left hook to the jaw, and I feel like they'll pass that bill. But there's just, I don't know.
They become Joe Biden.
They're already Joe Bidens. We have
some of them.
Our Capitol building is just...
Some of them are actually more lively than... Some of them are old, too.
Have you seen...
I think Dianne Feinstein is older than Joe Biden.
There are literally congressmen and senators in their 90s right now.
Let me quickly...
Is Mitch McConnell still around? Is he still doing shit?
I have no idea.
He's old. I know he's old as fuck.
I just don't see a way to hold these people accountable.
Hold on, I'm an idiot. Dianne Feinstein died. She was old. You guys know who I meant. Who's the lead Democrat in the House of Representatives?
Nancy Pelosi.
Oh my god, I hate that bitch.
I'm a fucking idiot.
She's old. Yeah, she's old.
She's so guilty of.
She's got the cartoon bulldog thing going on with her cheeks.
Her husband works on Wall Street, and she's very clearly doing insider trading.
Oh yeah,
but nobody can hold her accountable. And that's the other thing. That was kind of like when we've talked previously before about innocent until proven guilty. It's as long as that works for them, we have no way of holding them accountable because they're in a position where they're able to destroy evidence. They're able to hide their corruption. And if it's like when you enforce a teenager, they get better at hiding what they're doing. If I have a son and he's 16, 17, 18 years old, I can tell him, you're not smoking weed. In all reality, for the audience, I actually don't give a fuck what my teenage son would do. As long as he's staying safe and not raping people, I'm cool.
Right. So murder's on the table?
Depending on the situation. If my son's been getting carjacked and he kills that dude...
Well, that's not murder. That's self-defense.
Murder is the act of making a person not alive.
I disagree. I disagree.
You're thinking of homicide. You're thinking of homicide.
I don't care what the definitions are. Like,
you're thinking of homicide.
Yeah, there's a difference between murder and self-defense.
Yeah, there is. Yeah,
like,
if someone's trying to kill you, and
the way they would phrase that is he murdered in self-defense. You're thinking of homicide. There's a word for
no murder. That's not true. No, murder is where it's like you guiltily killed someone.
That's homicide again.
No, homicide is the one where it's like it just means you kill someone.
Right. Yeah.
No, murder is the one that just means you killed someone. Homicide is
you got the opposite.
I remember this from civics. Yeah. Homicide is literally just the act of killing someone. Murder is if you kill someone with intent for not in self-defense.
Murder is just a general term.
Murder is also a general term, yes.
Well, people use it as just the term for killing someone, just because I don't know. That's just the way we talk. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure I remember. If you want to talk about like actual definitions, then
I think I'm gonna Google that because I think I remember the upset.
Yeah. Okay.
Now we're just talking semantics. Yeah.
Fucking I actually.
So murder is homicide, but not all homicides are considered murder.
There you go. See,
yeah.
I think I'm right still.
No,
you just bro literally just read it and just didn't process it.
No, yeah, well, hold on, my brain buffers like a motherfucker.
You literally said what we were saying, and you're like, I'm still right.
Murder falls under the category of homicide. It is most serious form of homicide. All right, I think I'm wrong. Hey, it takes me a minute. I woke up at 3:30 a.m. this morning. I've been up all day.
So, you woke up early.
I'm fucking beat, bro.
Why'd you wake up so early?
I had a dream last night that woke me up. It was unlike any dream I've ever had. Usually just like falling or doing dumb shit or having like sex in my dreams.
I hate falling dreams.
Fallen dreams don't wake me up anymore. Never. They actually never used to.
Are you?
So you actually die in your dream?
No, I don't die. When I have a falling dream, you want to know what happens when I hit the ground? I crash through it.
The fuck?
The ground shatters, and I'm just falling in like.
So you're just in like the Minecraft void?
I'm falling in an orange abyss. It is the Nether. It is.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and like as a kid. Crazy. Like I remember this dream when I was like, God, I must have been like 4 or 5 years old. Still stays with me. I ran down the stairs, but I tripped, and I went straight down to the at the bottom of the stairs, but I crashed through. That was the first time I ever experienced that.
Literally went to the back room.
Or sometimes I don't crash through and I bounce back up. Like one time I had a dream where I was riding a bike and I shot up into the atmosphere. I'm like, oh fuck! And I start pedaling, trying to not, but I end up going to the ground. I feel my when you're about to fall and you're on a bike, you feel your crotch tense up. Yeah, it was that. I felt it, and I clenched. I hit the ground and I shot back up, and I'm like, am I really going to be bouncing thousands of feet into the atmosphere? It just happened for me. I don't know. I don't wake up when I hit the ground. But I had a dream last night that was very different from anything I ever had, and I remember it vividly. So it was in my neighborhood.
Can I have a quick question? Sorry, before you get into do you ever wake up from feeling like you're falling? That happens to me.
I don't ever wake up from that. No.
Wow.
Wait,
okay. Interesting.
Wait, you mean the jolt up when you're
I mean, usually this. Usually it happens when I've just fallen asleep. There'll be all of a sudden I'll wake up with a surge of adrenaline.
You know what that is?
Grasping my bed.
That happens. There's a reason for that. Do you know why that happens?
You're falling into REM really fast.
Yeah, you fell asleep too quick. That's what that means.
So I don't. Yeah. I only ever got those in school where I'm laying on my desk and I fall asleep like that.
Motherfucker!
But that's not a dream. I'm not dreaming of falling.
True. You're literally you know the actual reason why that's happening is that you fell asleep so quick, your body thinks you're dying and it's giving you adrenaline to wake up.
Wow.
Seriously, that's why that happens.
Yeah.
That is so stupid. I mean, the human body.
Well, you know what? If you were actually dying, that would fucking help.
True.
It evolved there for a reason.
No, but the human body is. There's another one of my opinions. I think the human body is stupid. I think
some of it definitely.
We can design things way better than nature can. Give us time. Give humanity a little bit more time.
Leave nature alone.
No. Nature sucks. Nature sucks.
Billy, I will say, I don't think that's a human problem. I think that is a evolution nature problem.
Exactly.
Because humans biologically, we're like
brilliant,
like best as you can get. Basically,
we're pretty good.
We have opposable hands and feet. We sweat. We have endurance. We have strength. We're like the only species that can reliably throw shit.
Yeah.
Like,
these
our brains are bigger. Like
these are good stuff.
I'm satisfied where we're at. I don't need to change nothing.
No, nature is fucked up a lot.
I'm against humans interfering with genetics. I'm against it.
I can make something better than nature. I can win.
I don't want you, of all people, touching genetics, personally.
Now,
I would cut off your hands and remove your eyes just so you can't.
Okay, but
Adam,
you have to admit, though, the human body can be improved. Definitely.
No,
I
I do not want people fucking with genetics. It's not about what you guys think could be better. I'm cool with the way it is. I don't want...
Okay, I'm not saying... Okay,
I'll take the flaws that exist. To me, sometimes what makes things perfect is a little bit of imperfection.
Well, I'm not even saying that we need upgrades per se, but I am saying that you have to admit that there's some shit that like...
Well, yeah, for sure. There's always going to be flaws, but
okay,
I don't want those flaws changed.
The fact that vestigial organs exist just kind of,
Well, like... To be fair, there also could be a lack of knowledge as to what... Like, they say we have useless organs. Nothing's useless.
Sure, there has been... Some research actually has indicated that some of the organs we thought were useless actually have small uses.
Not all the time. I mean, maybe if you take away from humans too, like, if you look at, like, whales, right? If you look at the skeleton of a whale, it's like all of their bones are in the front part, like, in their head and, like, the front fins, right? But they literally have one bone that's like all the way in the back because it's like disconnected from everything else because they're mammals.
Right.
That's their tailbone, but they don't have fucking legs anymore. It's just kind of there.
Yeah.
Like,
but I just no reason to change it for me. I don't know. I don't.
I've got one improvement that's like I think it's a banger idea.
What's that?
We make it where certain now this might be hard to do, but I think it's possible. We make it where there is a fever. Definitely, there's one. This will be easy. A fever limit. The human body, we make it where it cannot cause the internal temperature to rise past, let's say...
103 would be...
Yeah, 104 what's like the dangerous level?
Yeah,
104.
Yeah. Exactly. We make it where you can't go past that. No matter how sick you are, no matter how devastating the illness is. Because remember, fevers are intentional. They're actually... The fevers are generated by your immune response.
Right.
So we make it where you cannot go past a certain
But hold on. So there's a problem with that. Again, this always comes down to a lack of knowledge and a lack of foresight with people. Some argue the reason why that was a thing was because we existed outside at one point. Where if it was winter, the 104 wouldn't be as damaging in the winter as it would be in the summer.
We evolved mainly in Africa.
Hold on. That's not, again, necessarily true. Evolution happens all the time.
Yes.
We're evolving now.
Yes.
Okay, so Africa was a long time ago.
That's not for some people.
And then you got to look at different origins. White people exist.
I'm Puerto Rican.
You're half Puerto Rican.
I'm half Puerto Rican.
and then if you break it down even further, technically you're not even half Puerto Rican. Hold on. Let me break this down for you.
How dare you?
Hold on. Let me break this down for you. Technically, if you want to get real, I don't count countries as actual origins. Okay, I'll say I'm part Italian for like conversations, but I'm not really. If you break down genetics, what's like realistically, there are 4 different kind of genomes. That's why I'm against the whole Jewish people call themselves the whole race. Because they're not. They're Middle. If you're from Israel, you are of Middle Eastern origin, regardless of your fucking. You cannot tell the genetic difference between someone who is Muslim or Jewish. It is. So what you have is African, European, 2 different ones in Asia, and then Native American on this side.
Right.
Those are the major genomes.
They basically just don't exist anymore.
Yeah, those are the races. Those are the... So what you have is some Native American genetics, some
Native island.
Well, like old North America. Would Aztecs and shit be in that as well?
Yeah, they're just more. They're just
South.
They're just Native Americans. Just Native Americans. They're native to the Americas.
Well, usually when I think of Native Americans, I'm thinking of Native United States and Canada.
Yeah, but that goes all the way down. They're the same people. They are the same people.
That is
well,
true.
They are actually. They're kind of different,
but not different enough to really justify.
If you look at the Taino, like apparently the Taino were on average shorter. Versus if you look at mainland.
I just don't
America.
see the need to divide us to the extent that we do. So I just kind of clump it all. I can break it down in Asia to two different ones. Asia's huge, and there's such a vast difference.
Yeah, Asia, there is...
Europeans don't change much.
Yeah.
We are all very fucking similar.
Yeah.
We're pretty similar, yeah.
Africa, all very similar, because it's the origins of the Homo sapien. So when you break down...
No, hold on. Africa's actually very... because
it's very huge. It's very
diverse.
Well, not necessarily.
If you look at, like, different parts of Africa,
if you look at the way humanity...
They're actually quite different.
So if you look at the way it spread, right? If you go from the origins of humanity, the Congo, that area, the cradle of humanity, once you go up, then you had Homo sapiens mixing with Neanderthals, creating Europe and the Middle East. Those are kind of mixed. The Middle East is just is more African, original African Homo sapien leaning, a little less Neanderthal DNA, little. Like Europeans, I think we're 98% Homo sapien, but we have like 3% Neanderthal DNA. Some people even go a little further. Some people are like 95% Homo sapien, 5% Neanderthal. It's where we get our pale skin from.
I think
blonde hair, blue
average,
eyes.
was it 1.5 or 2% on average?
Yeah, 1.5 to 2%. It can go up to 5 depending on the
That's funny enough. I did not know this. Apparently, different siblings. The way I didn't know that's how DNA works. You can actually get different. So like between two siblings, we actually are different. Like if you take a DNA test, you actually can get different like results. So like one sibling can be 5% more English than the other sibling. I did not know that. That's actually.
It's just about what genetics are actually passed on.
Right. Which sperm cell did you look into?
Yeah. One sibling could be 35% English, and then another 30% English. And then they're 5% more of some other things.
Yeah. So then, like, there was a huge mixing in the Middle East. It's where you get the cradle of humanity. That's where you get the, the fertile, like the Babylon and all those. Some of the first civilizations formed, and people spread from there, going to China, mixing with hominins there. Those people mixed, and then you had no hominins in the Americas. So you had Eastern Asian people traveling north, going over the land bridge through Russia, through Alaska, down into the Americas. So you really only have are Homo sapiens and mixes of and where they mix with hominins. That's where we really should be breaking it down. So to be an asshole, if you want to break it down, you're a little bit of Taino, a little bit of African, a little bit of Spain, and then 50% British.
The white is a little mutt. So it's a mix of English, Scottish, Scandinavian, Irish,
yeah.
But that corner.
So if you look at that, I would say you're probably like 60 to 70% European origin, a little bit of native.
It's probably over 90%.
I wouldn't go that far because you got to remember there's still going to be a good portion of African because of what was going on in Puerto Rico for a long time, slave trade and all that.
Yeah.
And
there's some African.
And your mom is darker skinned, so I have to like not like real dark.
Yeah, she's super dark.
Not super dark, but
not
her
white.
Family is.
Yeah. That meant someone like I think it was your grandfather. He looked very Taino.
Yeah.
So I'd say 60 to 70% because you're gonna have a mix of other stuff going on there. I'm lowballing 60 to 70% European.
It's definitely higher than that. If we're being realistic here, You're right. There's some African. Because on my mom's side specifically, her family origin, because of my grandpa, there's more. It's probably more Taino than African.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Versus if you look at my older siblings, Harvey, Ashley, Shenny, they have a lot of Taino actually, but they also have a good chunk African in there too.
Yeah. Right.
So like Shenny, she's 10% Taino. She took like a DNA test.
Yeah.
But she's got African, and then again, some siblings you actually get different
variations.
So like, I'm gonna assume probably Harvey and Ashley probably have more African.
Harvey's like pretty dark.
They're pretty dark.
Yeah,
both of them.
I never met their dad.
Their dad, he looks kind of like Harvey.
Okay.
He's actually slightly lighter skin than Harvey, believe it or not.
Genetics play a funny role.
There's because if you look at Abuela, but anyway,
yeah. Like actually, now that you mention, your grandfather and Harvey share a very similar skin tone. Actually, I think
you've only met Abuelo is lighter skin than Harvey. For sure.
By a little bit, but they're close. I never met their dad, like I said. So like I don't know how similar they are to their dad. Versus I have seen Harvey next to your grandfather on two separate occasions.
Yeah, and Taino people, they were. It's not like they had darker skin, but it wasn't like
common to Native American. Most Native Americans share
because remember they're also South too.
There wasn't too much of a difference between most Native Americans.
Yeah, not too crazy, but there was some. And if you look at Canada, and there's a difference.
You know what's kind of interesting? Like Americans now, of the ones that are of European descent, we are generationally getting darker skin. Like not just from mixing races. Like they've looked at like people who've pretty much stayed Caucasian throughout their bloodline, and we're getting darker skin. And actually,
is that like overall, or is this like by region?
Kind of by region, but for the most part,
that makes sense. Well, I'm guessing that the people more down by the equator would be darker.
Yeah, so
right?
like
they're adapting.
But like even here, like we are. If you look at like compared to my like Scandinavian origins, I'm tanner than they are. Like, look at my skin. And you can actually see there's, like, people are actually gaining a tint of... So, like, they say Americans are jaundicing a little bit, and that's kind of what gave the Native Americans their quote-unquote reddish skin. Like, when I tan, and I do have a little Native American in me, but it's only like 3%. I don't have a lot in me, but when I tan, it gets a little more red than it would be someone from Britain who I've seen get tan, and their tan actually looks kind of different from my tan, even though I'm genetically more or less from the same region. It's because evolution's a weird. We adapt to our environment with small mutations,
right.
And it
pretty
seems
quickly, a lot quicker than like overall evolution.
Like keep in mind, it's very. It's only quick relatively.
I was gonna say, yeah, it takes generations.
Oh,
yeah, to see some genuine change.
Yeah,
but like to see it in like
change,
like individual cases, like you can sort of see it.
But we're adapting to the same situations that made the Native Americans different from like. How different is a Native American to someone of East Asia, right? How different are they? Even though their origins are closer to that. So, like, how did they change? We will be going through similar.
Genetically, Asians and Native Americans should
bear a lot of resemblance.
Should be more similar to one another than would be like further away. So we're either African and Native American or European and Native American, because if you look at the migration patterns, that's the people that, of course, they crossed the land bridge connecting Russia and Alaska, and so they essentially came from Asia. Now, remember, Asia, there's waves of migration too. So, like, Asia
That's why you're going to see,
get interesting mixes sometimes.
Yeah, if you look at the Eskimos, they bear more East Asian resemblance than someone from Mexico who's also Native American. There's going to be...
Yeah.
So
there are some populations in Asia that, quote-unquote, they actually look less, quote-unquote, Asian, so to speak.
India.
I do just want to point out, because I think this is kind of funny. we started this topic by saying, there's only like 4 major like regions, like trying to say, we're more equal than we think. And now we've been talking for like 20 minutes about all the different regions and how different. Like,
well, I think what it kind of comes down to is we need to label things differently. Like if you look at genomes, there's not as many as when people are saying, "Oh, I'm 10% this, 10% that." It's like really, you're mostly just European.
Yeah, it's.
Right.
I think we break it down
Good
too
point.
much.
It is arbitrary.
Yeah.
What is the when they a lot of genetic companies, they are like determining what is English. That's fucking hard. You know how they did that? The way they did that, it's kind of bullshit.
Yeah.
They just take a bunch of DNA from English people. But
it's like
thing, those people are already potentially mixed.
Exactly. You can't. Do you know how difficult it is to find someone who's like 100% anything?
Yeah,
Like-
that doesn't exist. Honestly, you
It's
want to know where
the
you can
closest
get.
you can get.
You want to know
like-
where you could find that. African descent people, so people from Africa, are closer to the original human genetic model.
I
So,
suppose so. Yeah.
That's where we developed. That's where we're from. And the people in that area are going to be closer to the original. But that's other than that, all you can kind of really look at are where we mix with different hominins. That to me.
Remember, there weren't. I know in Europe we mix with Neanderthal, but towards Asia there's the Denisovans. I think we might have mixed it.
So there's there's actually a good piece of evidence that shows that we did.
Okay, maybe I just haven't heard it.
What's funny is it was a Neanderthal and a Denisovan.
They found a cave where there was a child that was a mix. They had
They also found the
I
parents.
forget which one was the father, which one was the mother.
The father was the Neanderthal, the mother was the Denisovan.
Wow, look at that.
So
they had a mixed kid.
So like Homo sapiens, a lot like bears. Like right now we have polar bears that are being pushed out of their climate in the Arctic and are being pushed into northern Canada, where they're breeding with Kodiak grizzly bears, creating.
Oh yeah, that shit's wild.
The Growler bear, bro.
Yeah.
Or the Pizzly. I don't like the Pizzly.
Pizzly.
No,
dude, Pizzly is too much of a fucking
Yeah.
pussy name for a cool thing like that.
Yeah, the Growler bear. It sounds like granola. Like it's tough. Like it's
Growler bear.
hard to chew.
Sounds like from Dragon Ball Z.
Granola.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was a tough enemy. Man.
What does he look like again?
He has like a cool like bionic. Well, he has like an eye, like a steampunk kind of like goggle over his eye, but underneath his eye, it's almost like a cool Naruto thing. It's kind of cool. Blue hair, kind of like a blue outfit.
Like buff.
He kind of resembles Trunks, like Dragon Ball Super Trunks.
So he's more sophisticated.
Yeah, thinner,
Okay.
and he's precise when he fights. So like he took out Goku with pressure points.
I see.
Like, that's cool.
That's more sophisticated.
Yeah.
And it's cool to see that in Dragon Ball Z.
Because they haven't had that. It's always been, let's see if I can out strength you. Not, let's see if I can break down your body from the inside type of fight, which is cool. Like, but yeah, no, Growler bears,
They're fucking cool.
think about it. It's got the confidence of a grizzly bear, the confidence of a polar bear, the fucking bloodlust of a polar bear. Not as afraid of people as a polar bear.
Both types of those bears are about as ferocious as you can get.
Those are the two most ferocious bear species.
Oh yeah, by far.
By far.
Well,
yeah.
Well,
I don't.
So this is the saying, right? So if it's black, fight back. If it's brown, lie down. If it's white, say goodnight.
Well, because like black bear. If you want to look, black bears and grizzly bears, like grizzly bears are a lot more like powerful. Like if they wanted to, they could fuck you up.
Yeah.
But they just want to eliminate territorial threat. Just literally duck down, cover your neck. But a black bear, they're aggressive as fuck. They'll just try to kill anything in its fucking way. Like.
So you have to, but they're also pussies.
Yeah,
they're also pussies.
They're also
really.
Well, yeah, that's why they say fight back. So I've had two bear encounters. I've had 2 bear encounters. Very close. Black bears.
And Adam, he handled it textbook.
Yeah.
You fight a fucking bear?
No. you make yourself look big, get loud.
So these are the 2 bear encounters. I can run over these real fast, too. So the first one was 2017, late 2017. It was nighttime. I was walking back to my cabin, to the Vietnam Army tent. I was at the outhouse on one end of the property, walking back to where we were set up, harvesting cannabis, trimming weed. So we actually were bucking. So bucking is when you remove cannabis from the stem. So I'm walking back. My dog, Freya, at the time was only like 6 months old.
Oh, yeah, she ain't doing shit.
She's little. Well, no, that's all 2 little sets of eyes. She was about the size of the small pit bull we had on the property. She was 60 pounds. So I saw 2 sets of eyes. I'm like, oh, this is clearly my dog and my coworker's dog. I'm like, cool. Hey, girl. I go to pet her. And I get close. And I'm like, you're not my dog. You're not a dog.
Yeah.
Those were 2 bear cubs.
Wow.
I turn. Literally, so like, see that closet right behind Billy?
Yeah.
Mama bear standing up right there. I'm here.
Holy shit.
Standing up. I'm like,
dude, that's like
up on her legs.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
like 6 feet, dude.
I was close.
Yeah.
So I back up. I'm backing up, and she's kind of like walking towards me. Her cubs. You don't fuck with a mama bear and her cubs.
You do not.
So I'm walking back, and luckily my neighbor was walking down the parallel path. Like we were standing at like an intersection. So I'm like, and Mandy's walking down.
Did this bear vocalize at all?
No, that's the scary thing when they're silent. It's like Spider-Man when he stops talking shit.
Yeah, there's just a moment where the world stops.
Yeah.
Like,
so I'm walking backwards, and I don't know what to do. I'm from the city at this point, so I'm like, Mandy's walking down. She's from Alaska, so they have a lot of experience with bears. I'm like, Mandy, there's a bear over here. She's like, oh, ha ha. I'm like, I'm not fucking kidding. There's a bear over here. She turns on her flashlight. She's like, oh, shit. And she starts screaming bear. So I copy her. I'm like, bear. And I just yelled bear. And all of a sudden the bear cubs ran behind the mama, hopped in the woods. She hopped down, ass facing me, but looking back with a look like you got lucky, and then jumped into the woods.
Thank God.
Damn, you
that could have been bad.
That could have went bad.
Yeah.
So then a year later, it's 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm thinking bears are nocturnal. The last one was at night. 9 o'clock in the morning. I just got done watering all the weed. I'm walking back to the main house to go smoke dabs with my buddy. I'm walking back.
Sounds like a good day.
Yeah. It was going to be a good day. I'm walking back.
Quick question: is it dark?
No, 9 o'clock in the morning.
Oh, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, 9 o'clock in the morning. So I'm walking back. So I turned down this tree tunnel that we had. It was a tree tunnel, fenced in on one side, blackberry bushes on the other, beautiful path. We lived on an old orchard, so we were in the middle of restoring it. So at this time, there was a lot of fucking apples and pears on the ground.
That's nice.
Psst, dog, go lay down. Go lay down. Go.
We love you, Freya. Go lay down.
Go lay down.
No, follow your master.
Freya, go lay down.
Good dog.
Good dog. Sad dog now, but good
We'll
dog.
pay you later.
So
We'll pet her very soon.
I turned down this tree tunnel. Dog. I mean, I'm not a dog. Keep thinking dog.
Bear.
Big fucking bear. My cabin is probably like maybe 25 feet that way.
Okay.
Like to my right.
To
my right. I'm in
For
the
the
tree
audience.
tunnel. I'm like, I can turn back where I was just coming from and run to my cabin, but this bear is close. He's probably about where my TV is.
Well, how many feet away?
Good, like
15,
12,
15, maybe 15 feet
Something.
max.
Ish feet. Okay, there you go.
Ish
For
feet.
the audience, yeah.
15-ish feet. This is the moment now where I'm like, I have experience, I know what to do, but this bear was big. This must have been the father of the bears I just saw last year. Big
black bear.
Yeah.
The problem was I didn't know what type of bear it was because turns out it was a black bear, but his fur was bleached where he looked brown. So there was like, I'm like, I if I make the wrong choice here, so like it was crazy. It was like this whole thing was happening in slow motion. Like this is one of these moments that made me feel like I connected with my ancestors. Like I was like now a predator. I was just an animal, no different than he is. I'm an animal in the woods. Now it comes down to dominance.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it's all happening slow. I see him beginning to charge.
Whoa.
Because it's in a tree tunnel. He's trapped in this tunnel with me. He starts to rev up, and I see it. This is all happening in super slow motion. 1,000 thoughts run through my mind. Can I get to my cabin and grab my gun? No. Is there any weapons nearby? No. Should I run? If I run and I make the wrong mistake, I'm going down either way.
You don't run. That motherfucker.
Unless you were close to your cabin.
I was close to my cabin.
Right,
you're not outrunning a fucking.
But he has.
No, I don't care how close you are.
Yeah, exactly. That was the decision I came to. But the brain still runs through all these options.
Yeah,
runs through.
Your brain ran through all this shit in like half a second.
Yeah, fraction of a fucking second. So I came to the conclusion: get big, scream bear. Threw my hands in the air. And I embraced all the heavy metal in my life. I screamed bear so loud and so demonic. So the bear veers, hops over the fence, and keeps running.
What the fuck?
That's crazy.
My
That's
neighbor
insane.
and the property owner come running over with their guns. And they're like, we heard you scream bear, but halfway through it turned into like a demon. I lost my voice for 2 weeks doing this stunt. I literally I roared. That's the way they described it. They said it didn't even sound human. I'm real proud of that. So it took about 2 hours, but then I couldn't talk for 2 weeks. My voice was just gone. But I threw everything I had into that.
Well, yeah, that's fucking, could have died in that moment, man.
Yep.
Yeah, but you're going to throw everything.
But I scared a bear who charged at me.
That's crazy.
Nice.
Yeah, he veered. He didn't try to fucking no, he said, fuck that, and hopped the fence to get away from me.
Billy, you got any bear stories?
No. I got, I guess, one. There's a black bear. It literally was just, it wasn't like a huge black bear. It looked like it was behaving like a big raccoon. It was,
just going through your friend's trash.
Yeah, I was at a friend's house, and all of a sudden, we're hearing this commotion, and it wasn't. I don't think it was their trash. I think it was the neighbor literally right next to us, like across, adjacent, and not across the street, like adjacent. And then he knocked over the trash can and was rummaging through it. But then people started coming out of their house. Yeah, I think the bear saw the people and whatnot, and when enough people, even though we were all far away and we were close to the house, we could get inside if we needed to. We weren't really in danger. We didn't get close or anything. The bear kind of just got pussied out and ran away. Yeah, that was it.
Bears are basically big, stealthy raccoons.
A
black bear really doesn't want the smoke. They are pussies.
Yeah, they just want to get their food and get out of there.
Those stories make mine look like shit. But I had literally one encounter my whole life. It was I was with my friend Dom. We were walking down the train tracks in the town where I live. We were going to, there's like this abandoned factory sort of thing where teenagers do things, if you get what I mean.
Well, I know the spot.
Okay, yeah. Teenagers do things. We were walking down, and I saw, it was in some sort of animal, literally 50 feet down the track. I'm telling them, what the fuck is that? Is it like a dog or some shit?
That's always how it starts.
I know. It's like, dude, I think those are fucking bear cubs, man. And he's like, nah, it's just like raccoon or bear or a fucking dog or something. And they went into the woods, next to it, right? And we're like, whatever. Literally, a minute later, we're down at that same spot. The mother comes out. Full fucking mother bear, probably about, where the couch was over there. Probably another, 15 feet. But it was so weird. It was one of those moments, me and Dom didn't say a fucking word. We just both knew what to do. We just sitting there, eyes wide. We literally just both, fucking started backing up slowly.
Did the bear acknowledge you?
Oh, yeah, it was staring at us.
Oh.
It was standing, all fours, looking to its side like this, fucking standing there staring at us. We were staring at it. We literally just started backing up slowly, walked away. Nothing crazy like that happened, but it's
she was
that's a moment, dude.
Well, that is definitely, is cool.
I had one moment that started as a bear story, but it's not a bear story because it was only the initial thought. So this was later that same year. I walk into the garden at night. I unhook Freya from the tree she was tied to because sometimes I would tie her up while I was doing work around the property because we weren't fenced in, and she had a proclivity for disappearing and going on neighbors' properties and doing bad things. So if I was doing work where I couldn't attend her, I'd tie her up. So I'm walking back. I untie her, and we're walking back to my cabin, and my cabin's in the garden. I go in. It's nighttime. It's midnight. And I'm looking at one of the plants, and there's this thing standing up in front of it. I'm like, is that a bear? Is that a bear holding a flashlight? Oh, fuck, that's a person.
Oh, fuck.
That's scary.
That's the scariest thing you could see in the fucking woods.
People are kind of random. People are scary.
Scarier than the fucking
way scarier.
Scarier than a fucking bear, honestly. But this one I was also a little excited for because I am the psychopath that I am.
It's a situation, obviously.
So yeah, for certain people, but for me, it was like, well, the thing that hopped into my mind was like, this guy knows the consequences of his actions. So where I lived in Oregon, right, we had a state trooper come. Keep in mind, where I lived, it was a 3-day response time for a 911 call.
You're fucking kidding me?
Yeah, no, like, that's why I'm pro-gun, too, is because, like, in some areas of the country, what they say just does not apply.
Dude, in that area of the country, guns should be required.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing. In Oregon, when I was living out there, Portland passed a law saying, if I feel uncomfortable, when I see you have a gun in a public place, I can call the cops and they have to come and confiscate your weapon. That only worked in the Portland area. The rest of Oregon was like, no, fuck you. We have wolves. 3 day, sometimes it can be a 5. There's areas where it's a 5-day response time.
That is insane. How can it be more than like an hour, dude?
Finding you. Sometimes GPS doesn't work the way you want it to.
Sure.
Looking for where you came from.
Well, the one thing, and just like, from, we're all city boys. Like, what's the response time here? Like, probably like fucking 10 minutes.
But it's also not really, sometimes it's not a priority for them.
There have been times where I won't say like the situation of it. There have been times where I've called 911. They've taken like
20 minutes.
Like more, like I think it took like half a fucking hour to get to my place.
Yeah, and they bragged they have a 3-minute response time in this area, but like
now,
hell no.
When I called them, the situation, I mean, it was kind of bad, but it wasn't like we got like an active shooter or something.
Well, see, then you're not supposed to call 911 when it comes to that. You're supposed to call their non-emergency hotline.
Well, I should not now. I'm not going to share the story, but I should not have called 911. But it was...
It was like a medical emergency?
No.
I'm not trying to pry. I'm just trying to,
but it was potentially a dangerous situation. So.
Okay. Oh yeah, they're going to take an hour if it's not an emergency. Like it can take an hour. So out here though, we had a state trooper tell out there the sheriffs. So the sheriff told our neighbor, if you have a tweaker on your property, don't even call us. Just dig a hole.
Yeah, dude.
Just dig a hole.
It's actually kind of crazy.
Yeah.
It was me and my friends one time. We were walking around town. We were driving around town. We were at a gas station, and there's literally this guy across the street from the gas station. He's in a fucking hospital gown, and he's like fucking just walking around all drugged up and shit, just on the roads.
This is in town.
This is in town. This is at fucking Sunoco. This is at the Sunoco.
At the Sunoco.
Yes. And he's across the street in a hospital gown.
That is nuts.
And he's all drugged up and she's all tweaking out. He's fucking on like fentanyl or some shit. And we call the cops and we're like, dude, there's this fucking like crazy guy. Yeah, like he escaped a fucking war or something. Literally, you want to know what they said? Like, oh yeah, we know about him. He does that from time to time. But that was the gist of it. They didn't do shit. They're just like, oh yeah, we know. Like
there, dude. Like, so tweakers are often double as what you call rippers.
So really, explain what a tweaker is.
A tweaker is someone our audience should know. It's pretty common, but a tweaker is someone who does meth.
I did not know before.
You're also a very you're not in that.
So you ever seen like
I know what a tweaker is now, but like
meth.
Yeah, so tweaker. Yeah, it's basically imagine the fucking crate junkies that you see at like the fucking bars, like yelling at people and shit. Basically, take one of those and just put them in some random spot in the street. That's a tweaker.
Well, a junkie does heroin. Tweakers do meth.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of junkies.
I just use tweaker as just like anyone who's
tweaker.
Just,
someone who's tweaking out. Like if you're on heroin, you're not tweaking. You're just comatose. You're comatose. You're laying on the ground stealing from your family. That's a junkie. A tweaker, they're productive motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So tweakers often double as rippers. So out west. And a ripper is someone who. So out west in Northern California and Oregon, I think this is something a lot of idiots tend to not think about.
Idiots.
They fucking are. They're fucking. We have bandits, raiders, people who fucking roam the woods causing violence. We have that. It's like Fallout 3 in some of these areas. Fallout New Vegas, fucking Fallout 4. There are bandits out there who will go onto your property, steal everything on your property, and kill everybody on that property. And they'll roll through and do that shit in a half hour. And they're tweaked up on meth, so they're productive, and you're not putting them down easily. So that's what a Ripper is. They often steal cannabis. So I work on a cannabis farm. I live in the woods off grid. I walk in there. Is that a bear? Is that a bear holding a flashlight? Oh fuck, that's a person. So I have Freya on the leash. I go into my cabin. I grab my shotgun. I get a little bit closer. I let Freya off the leash, and then I yell. Dude fucking ran for it. He ran to the edge of the property where the easement is. Freya cut him off. Yeah.
How old is Freya at this point?
Year and a half.
Nice.
She's big enough to do something.
Oh, at this point she's 80 something pounds.
Okay, yeah.
She's big. She's 120 now, so like, yeah, she's big at this point. Cuts him off, and she's fast. This dude ran and dove through the blackberry bushes, which I know he's on meth because you ain't doing that shit sober. There's so many thorns. Dude. So many thorns. Yeah. I heard his clothes tearing. I get up there, I unload my shotgun into the direction he was running. I don't even know if I hit him, but I had bird shot, so even if I hit him, more or less it's just a sting.
Yeah.
Like, stay the fuck away from here. Then I call my buddy. He comes running over with his 30-06. It's scoped. And he's out there looking. He's like, I don't see anything. He just starts offloading. He just asks me,
he just shoots random?
Yeah, he's like, which way did he run? I'm like, that way. Keep on, a 30-06 can go a long time.
Like, just shooting the general... I'm not sure if that was a good idea.
I mean, why not?
It's like your situation was different because... You were...
Oh, hold on. Firearm safety, children. Never shoot a gun if you don't know where your backdrop is. In this situation, we knew what our backdrop was. There was nothing in that direction. The only thing we're going to hit is trees and possibly maybe a deer. There ain't shit. In the city, do not shoot without knowing your fucking backdrop. Different. Yeah, that bullet will go through backyards. It could peg somebody. You don't know where that bullet's going to land.
Okay.
Like,
I see what you're saying.
It's firearm safety. It's called a backdrop. You always know what you're... Like, even out there. Like, if I'm actually trying to be ultra safe, I shoot towards a hill. Because then it's just going to go in the dirt.
Right.
Yeah. Always, but in this situation, if he's running in that direction, that means his camp is somewhere in the woods. And that means there's more of them. They never come alone. They always have a crew.
Fucking tribes out there.
Was part of the psychological...
Oh, yeah. Well, the idea is hopefully he made it back to camp and was just like, stay away from there.
Okay.
Yeah, then my buddy handed me
that makes sense then. Because I was thinking, like, dude, if for the guy with the rifle, at that point, he is gone. You're definitely not, it's like a waste of ammo. But if there's a psychological aspect
I don't think he just kept running, though. I think we both think he just kind of hid out there.
Oh.
Because he disappeared way too fast, even for being on meth. Like, I got up there super fast, and I only caught a glimpse of him, but then it just seemed like he disappeared, and I didn't hear footsteps. Normally, out there, it's so quiet, I could hear footsteps.
Nothing around.
Yeah. It's like he just laid down and was hiding.
Damn.
And I stayed out there all night. So, honestly, we don't even know if we hit him and he just rotted out there somewhere. Like, we actually killed that motherfucker, but honestly, good. Stay out of fuck with.
Yeah, if he's...
See, in that situation, a person is scary because it's a situation where you know this person is up to
because I've seen videos of motherfuckers, like, they'll take, they're like camping, they'll take cameras out, like, middle of the woods, go camping, and so many videos of, like, there'll just be random people just, like, banging on their tent or just, like, walking around, like, you have no idea what their fucking intentions are. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah.
It depends on the context.
Especially
when there are certain situations where you know a person and what they're doing. It depends what they're doing.
Right. Too. If you're in the city in the middle of the night and you see just some random motherfucker just across the street, that's a whole different thing. It's like, okay, maybe you might want to be...
You feel a little nervous.
A little bit nervous, but it's like you're in a public, there's witnesses. Like, you're in the middle of the woods, and there's just some random other dude. There is no reason for him to fucking be there.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that
no reason for him to be there other than to steal your shit or try to fuck you up.
Yep. There's only one time I trust in it. That's honestly... Rednecks just have like a marker where you know they're safe, and it's if they're wearing camo and they have their gun on them. Then I know he's out there, like, doing woodsman shit.
Right.
But if he's wearing a tank top and cargo shorts and like
That's a tweaker.
fucking he's a tweakers.
He doesn't know where the fuck he is.
He's just he's in outer space somewhere because meth does that too. He's just grooving and he wants to smoke.
Damn.
So like, but yeah, chances are more than likely because of how much time passed before. But at the range he was when I fired my bird shot, no way I killed that dude. No way I clipped him. Like,
it's bird shot because he's far away.
That
bird
spread
shot.
is real. I've definitely pelted his back for sure. I know I got him with that, but he didn't. There was no when we went.
He's
out,
wearing clothes. He's wearing like a jacket.
He was so out of range.
Yeah.
He probably it was more or less like he might have like a couple pellets stuck in his back.
Right.
Like, but yeah, when I went over there, it was like, and there I was protecting not just the cannabis, but there were kids on that property.
Damn.
Like it was my buddy and his family. Like I'm like part of what I get paid to do is to not just maintain the plants, but I'm the property caretaker. I'm protecting the property, and we live in an area where that stuff is allowed. Oregon.
That is, I just want to say really quickly, that is some badass shit. I didn't realize, like, dude, you fired a weapon at someone. That is fucking badass. Like, I've got to. That's respect right there. All right.
Thank you. I'm looking out for me. They were my. Honestly, I love those people to death. In a sense, they are family. I would treat them no different how I treated anybody else I really care about. They had my back through a lot of shit, and that dude put them in jeopardy. Like I love his children. He had two beautiful little girls. Like I love his children. I love that family. They're just like Little House on the Prairie meets Rage Against the Machine. I love them so much. Like, so like to have somebody on their property that was putting them at risk, nope, I'm not letting that happen. Because what if I wasn't there? What if I didn't work there? Yeah. Could have been a very different fucking story.
Yeah, precisely.
Yep.
All right.
Yep. So I'm glad I did what I did. Dude, fucking almost definitely was out of range. But I definitely gave him something to remember me by for sure.
Oh yeah, he ain't ever going back there.
Yeah, he never did. We never found like any we explored that whole area. We tried following footsteps. We tried tracking, see where he came from, see where he went, but we lost track, and there was no sign of blood or anything. So we didn't hit him with anything that was going to kill him.
Well, humans are like people, and
humans are like people. Dude. I agree.
Humans are like animals in a way, where it's like
I agree with
none of us really want to like hurt people. We just kind of want to eliminate like a territorial threat. Like if you're off my property, just get the fuck out. Like,
yeah, literally.
That's all it is. Whether I have to kill you or not.
I think that's not necessarily true because we've had a history of serial killers. That's not always.
Well, yeah, I'm talking general rule because there are some psychotic motherfuckers.
Yeah,
but
there are. As a general rule, most of us don't want it. Like they actually did a study during World War II where they were trying to figure out why. Like, so what they figured out was when you were firing at somebody, a lot of soldiers would shoot above them, give warning shots. People weren't actually shooting to kill anymore.
Oh.
And then our defense department has been trying to figure out how to lower that so people are shooting to kill more. Yeah, it's a funny.
Just hire psychos.
That's what I'm saying.
There are people that kill just because they like it.
Yeah, the draft makes no sense. Why are you going to take the kid that works at Staples? Like, we need him. Keep him here. We have a whole prison section of psychopaths.
Oh God, yo, put people in put prisoners in fucking war.
Technically, I think it's against the law. It's like Geneva Convention shit. You're not allowed psychopaths in war.
Hey, they do better.
I think.
Well, I'm not talking about like psychopath. I'm talking like
Karens too.
Oh,
yeah, right.
Yo, yeah, they fuck shit up.
They don't care.
Yeah,
they really want to shoot you.
Like they just yell at you instead. Yeah. They just yell at you because they can't.
And they're talking ultra loud on their thing, eating a snack. Like you know right where they are all the time. Like they're not great. They're not great for stealth missions. But put those motherfuckers in a D-Day situation, they'll get there.
Oh yeah,
you put some Karen.
They're getting off the beach.
Yeah. Like cops that are like really aggressive with black people. I think we should take them and put them in there because like if they want to kill somebody, and they're racist already.
Right. Exactly.
Like you honestly, just sounds like a benefit to them. Like
I can do this legally.
Yeah. Like Bill Burr had a skit. He's like, so wait, you're telling me I get to kill people and I ain't going to jail? Wait a minute, are they foreigners? Oh shit! Damn, get your Christmas in September. Yeah, fucking Bill Burr had a great. I fucking love that dude.
Something that I love about all of us, we can agree to disagree. And it's so powerful because we can have kind of intense conversations, but also like we're also just fucking around.
Yeah, like
We are not smart people. We're literally just fucking around.
And
I kind of I think you two. I think you guys are smart. I think you guys are thoughtful. Rate, just so you know, I rate you guys. You guys are not average people.
No, I don't think any of us are. Like
you guys, in terms of the level of thinking.
Right.
I think that's kind of the thing. I feel like so a lot of what we see on media. That's kind of like in our intro that we did. Like I mentioned, like a lot of podcasts. It's just a bunch of wealthy, privileged, on the very like disconnected people that run a lot of modern podcasts. Like aside from Joe Rogan, who I think is just like a really good interviewer. Like a lot of podcasts I see are just like they're either ultra fucking dumb. They're all ultra fucking dumb in different ways. Like even if it's just them talking around, like sitting there talking, having fun, it just seems like a lot of them are lacking like real wisdom or
especially like you see the one he did with The Rock.
Yeah,
it's like that was so like PR driven, like
and basic too.
Like, exactly, and it's so weird too because The Rock, he's talked about wanting to like run for president, like he wants to get political. They talked about it for probably like not even 5 minutes.
Wow,
like it was just so PR. He just wants everyone to like him. You can't do that in politics.
It's unfortunate.
Like,
I feel like you guys are authentic and you guys are thoughtful and wise.
I also meant. I do think we're smart people. I meant we're not smart in the fact of like
we're not professionals.
Like we're not professionals, right?
Yeah.
We're literally just sitting here with fucking microphones talking about world events, talking about politics. We're not literally in it.
Exactly.
I like to think
that is good to know. We're not professionals.
I like to think at the very least we're actually relatable, whereas I feel like a lot of stuff that we see is not relatable, but it's more like what they want you to relate to as opposed to because like I said. We are all of us here are working class.
Oh, super working class.
Super fucking
all like lower middle class.
Lower if not honestly borderline poverty driven. Like and all of us I feel like have that common thing where it's like
the middle class is dead. It's been dead for
it's
a
either
few years
poor
now.
or upper middle. I don't even want to use the term middle class at all. Like just it's poor and wealthy now. Like, I'm never going to have a Bugatti. Nor do I want one.
I do kind of think there is an upper middle class still.
I'd say that's just lower. I'd say what you have now is
like lower rich.
Lower rich.
I don't. It's weird because they're not.
There's just such a divide now. That's the problem.
You're right. There's a divide, but I can't quite call them rich.
But like
when they have, it's like sub-rich. We could say sub
because they're millionaires. It literally.
No, not those people.
Oh no! If you and your family make $250,000 a year, in my mind, you're poor. Considering the next phase up from that is millions. Like there's just like
we kind of disagree then.
Well, because
I feel like if you're making six figures, you're in
250 is a lot.
No, it isn't. Remember how before I said, and I've said this many times, in 1980, $30,000 it was a working class salary. That today is $128,000. It's just that we've gotten so used to such a low standard of living compared to what this country allowed for working class people before that. We go by the number and not the actual buying power. If you're looking at, we basically been trained to accept poverty for what it is, to accept our wages.
What's the average like yearly salary? Isn't it like
$60,000?
Yeah, that's fucking
crazy.
I mean, because like $60,000 back in like the 1950s, that was pretty fucking good. Like,
but compared to the buying power though, like the 1980 had a worse economy than the 1950s. If you really want to get into it like that too. So like the equivalent salary I would be making, like think about the 1950s standard. A man, keep in mind, women could work then, but a lot of women did not for social and like also.
Well, they did it by choice. Just family values were
family
big.
values.
That's all it was.
So like, a man could pay for his wife to stay home, have two children comfortably, 2 college funds for both children, 2 retirement plans for him and his wife who doesn't work. A house, a car, and annual vacations.
One salary.
Car, TV, and do that all.
You can't do half that shit now with 2.
Yeah. We have gotten so used to. So to me, $250,000 a year between a family is not rich. It's not upper middle class. That's what the middle class should be. That's my problem, is that's where we should be sitting if the people here at the working class had realistic standards on what we should be allowed.
Where do we categorize those? Because there's a difference between people doing that and people like us. I
would call that the remnants of the middle class, and I would put us in poverty.
Wow.
The remnants of the middle class.
I don't know if I feel like I would say I feel like we're borderline poverty. We're not quite poverty.
I feel like it's your standard. It's your standard.
It's my standard because there's some people that are like.
It's because, dude, we grew up so poor that
we didn't grow up super poor.
Anything that feels forward feels like it's better than what
feels like a huge leap,
but it's not.
You're probably right.
Like not only like
if you got someone who was making $250 a year and brought them to us, like they got down to like our level of fucking,
they would call it poverty.
They would call themselves poor.
Wow.
Yeah. That's there's no doubt in my mind about that.
I guess, perspective does matter. And you're right. Because I think I compare to in the past when I was growing up as a kid. It's like, oh, we're way better off now. Way better off. And it's like, well,
not really.
Not really. We're still making the lower half of five figures.
Like, could you buy a house right now?
Fuck
no.
No.
Absolutely
no.
not.
No. And I'm like, I don't really care. It's on the podcast.
I couldn't even buy a house. I couldn't even buy a house like 6 years ago when it was better.
I will say, like, I'll say this.
Way better.
The housing market is just fucked right
now, especially.
I'll say this on the podcast because I don't really care. But like with overtime, I comfortably make over $60K. With overtime, I comfortably make that. But I am still technically paycheck to paycheck for the most part. Like I'm able to save a little bit. Like that's about it.
Plus, that's with overtime as well. You shouldn't need to do overtime to fucking live.
Yeah, and I have a car. I have car insurance, renter's insurance. I pay for my own apartment. I pay for my own food. I do everything by myself. I don't have a family to support. I should be rolling in it. I should have so much money. I honestly don't know what to do with it if the standard was real. Like I said, $30,000 in 1980 is, and this is the low end of those estimations. Actually, I only give the low end. The high end on some of these put it up near 170,000. That's how big that leap is. I'm saying 128 because that was the lowest I saw, and I feel like that's fair. I'm going to go with the lowest because I don't necessarily want to trust the highest. But even on the lowest, I should be making double. All of us should be making over. Like bare minimum, you're working class. Like, as long as you're not working... My belief is a McDonald's job should pay for the lifestyle I currently have. Car, cheap one-bedroom.
I tend to agree.
Yep.
The lowest class of job should be able to support fully...
independent living.
One person, independent
At
living.
least.
Like, they got all their shit covered.
Like, I'm a skilled tradesman. I've been to tech school. I've been in my career... I've been in my field for a long time now.
Exactly,
I shouldn't be like I shouldn't need a wife or a spouse to actually fake prosper. Like, and it's not real prosperity to me if it takes two people to do it.
Right. Oftentimes, nowadays you need two people, and then you need them. You kind of need them to not have kids, and then you've got that pseudo prosperity that
kids are like the most expensive thing you can fucking get.
Yeah.
You throw kids in the equation, you're back down to you made no progress.
And no matter what, if I had kids in my situation and it was just like I had a wife that earned similar money to what I make, whether it's a little more or a little less, I realistically, I still couldn't afford college for them. I couldn't set up a college for them.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Can they just afford for them to live?
Struggling, at that point, you're struggling to get living space for everyone.
Yeah, like
and maintain it.
Yeah, so we've just gotten accustomed to a low standard. And that's a problem too, because then you don't feel like you can't. Our generation and Gen Z have just gotten accustomed to this when it should be more like we should really honestly. Why aren't we protesting? Is kind of the big thing. Like our whole the majority of our people.
Well, it's also like what the fuck are we gonna do about it? Like
you want to know
it's all in the fucking 1% basically.
Well, that's what like the Great Depression. A lot of what our great grandparents did was so they paint it in a weird way. Like, oh, they were homeless. A lot of them were homeless by choice. They chose to go live in the park because they said it was cheaper. Why pay rent when a lot of what the Great Depression was a form of protest.
Really?
But the problem is we are able to Netflix. A lot of it. A lot of what they teach you in school. I study this. So like Hoovervilles, it was a form of protest. A lot of people abandoned their apartments, went to go live in parks, set up tents, and they did that by choice because landlords weren't collecting rent realistically. They wanted to kind of put a damper on society. It was less, let's pull together and try to fix the economy, and more yelling at the government for them to fix the problem.
Well, why does the stock market crash?
Yeah, I thought the
people
the stock market crash. That's what caused it.
Their money in the banks.
Well, yeah, they lost their money, but they were still thinking about it like this. Just because they lost their money doesn't mean that there's not money to be made. There's still food to be sold. There's still things to be made. Yeah. Companies wanted people to work. Yeah. Hey, unload this train so we can put this in the store. There were people who were like, no, I'm not working for this meager wage that isn't actually going to feed my family.
See, yeah.
What they had were standards.
I'm just going by what I learned in school. In school, I'm going to say they made it sound like it was like people were thirsty for work. Like people were trying to work.
Huge misconception. You had people like that. You always have sellouts. But like you also had a large amount of people who were protesting, stealing food, yelling at the government. Interesting. Like right now, our cost of living is actually worse than it was in the Great Depression by a large percentage. But the problem is we're comfortable. We have Netflix and we can chill and we can distract ourselves from the problems. Whereas they weren't able to do that. They were faced with the problems they had and had standards. Like, economically speaking, you're not going to have a bunch of people not wanting to go. Like right now, you're not going to have people quitting their jobs to go protest. You're not going to have people like leaving, be like, no, they screwed me. You're not paying. What you're paying me right now is pathetic. And that's a lot of the perspective they had. Thirsty for work? No. Some people, sure. People were thirsty for the economy to be fixed. People were thirsty for a lot of things, but it was change is what they wanted. And there's a large amount of protesting that happened. We don't do that today. Like women's rights. When women wanted something, for example, suffrage, those motherfuckers laid on the White House lawn and starved themselves until a decision was made. We don't do that shit now. We're cowards. We have a level of comfort that we don't want to risk. That's what it comes down to.
So this is going to be a little controversial. When we do protests, look what happens.
Exactly. but we have to be okay with that.
Y'all already know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know. The riots, the things like that.
Yeah.
But we have to do that. I don't see that as a bad thing. If we have to set some fires to make some change happen, that's my big political view. It's what I represent. I'm very 1776. Sometimes you got to dump the tea in the harbor.
You are in that regard. Yeah, you are in that camp. I'm in the camp. I tend to, if we look at the George Floyd protests and riots. So in terms of protest, most of the protests did not devolve into rioting. The vast majority of the protests were peaceful throughout the country, but then you had some areas in the country that they were rioting. It turned into rioting, or perhaps the people came in who were bad faith, who
they also say there were undercover cops starting riots, like delivering pallets of bricks.
There's suspicions of that. Now, I'm not sure where that is, like if that's confirmed, but
there are a lot of things.
It's possible.
Like there was this one story of this cop that was undercover, and he got the shit kicked out of him by other cops.
That did happen. Yep. Yes, that did happen. He was under, and for some reason they did not. He didn't want to compromise his cover, so he did not.
He just took the ass whooping.
He took the ass whooping, and.
But we have to ask, why was he undercover?
Well, I want to ask, why was the shit being out of him?
Well, I don't. Well, that's irrelevant to me. To the point of it. To the point is, why were you there? You had no business to be there. You're not on our side. Why were you undercover in a protest? You had no reason to be undercover in a protest.
Cops, you can, you might not like it if they're just undercover and they're not doing any.
Well, no, actually,
they're just observing undercover. I don't have as much of a problem with it, but yeah.
I think. Here we go again.
Okay.
You guys are both right. Because it's like, if there's not because cops go undercover, right? Like, that's a normal thing. But it's also, in that situation, when the thing you're protesting is the police. It's like
a little bit of a bias.
It's a little weird.
It's a little.
Yes, true. And it's funny. The question of like he got the shit beat. He got fucking the shit beaten out of him by fellow cops, and you gotta wonder, like, okay, so that police department is fucked.
All police departments are fucked. That's kind of the point.
I think some are more fucked than others.
Well, some are more fucked than others, but this whole country.
There are some that are borderline, like...
The whole country is fucked. But, like, my thing is, like...
I don't care if protests turned into riots. We should be rioting. We have enough to be mad
about. You want
to
tear shit down, so that makes sense.
We have to,
obviously.
Though. That's the whole thing. We have to.
From my perspective, I don't want to do that. I kind of want to prevent the rioting.
Well, then it's always going to be a biased thing because it's like you got to look at case by case because it's like the insurrection. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that one.
I don't agree with why. I don't agree with why.
See, that's what I mean. So you can't just go around fucking rioting everything because a lot of the time the cause is going to be fucking stupid.
Well, that's the thing, the cause. But we need a good cause, and then no matter what, it's always good. Like, yes. I don't even like the term insurrections. In America, we don't have insurrections. That is just American politics here. That is what we do. When we don't like what you're doing, that's why we have the first, second, fucking third, fourth. That's what all our amendments are there for, is to be able to overthrow
government. Revolutionary War, I suppose.
We
are a form of treason.
This is what this country was founded on. Okay, the country, like Star Wars, it's like the rebels won, but then they turned into the Empire.
That was the fear of the founding fathers, for sure.
And that's
the fear is, they were treasonous against tyranny. The fear is like, wait a minute, like, what if, arguably, like, we used violence against tyranny, so shit, what if we become tyranny? Would that not make it justifiable?
It's it is so subjective. That's my only thing about it. Because, yes, you're founded on, like, tyranny, but, like, even if the entire country, even if the entire country agrees, like, yes, this is tyranny, we need to fight back. There's gonna be people that are like, why are you doing this? And the same goes the other way around.
Yeah.
So like, I think part of that comes down to really good manipulation on the side of the media and like interests that run the media, like to be able to keep us divided. But I think my argument is that we have enough on the table to actually justify a proper display of violence.
I disagree,
dude. If you took the war of 1776, the Revolutionary. Oh, I know. I'm not, but I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to I'm just going to shut up because we're low on time.
Okay.
The Revolutionary War started for less of a cause than what we have now. Without a doubt.
I disagree. It's so funny. We have to...
Oh my god.
Okay, how about this? I disagree. But how about we agree to disagree for now?
We have to break that down like completely.
I would love to have that kind of outing.
Half a penny tax on tea.
Write that shit down. We're gonna start where we left off next time.
To be fair, really quickly, there's a point that Adam has. What was the Revolutionary War like? Justified? Like kind of like
half a penny tax on a breakfast beverage, and we toppled a fucking navy for it. My standard stays firm. Okay, Epstein's Island, this horrible economy. You ain't gonna get me like with this peaceful nonsense. We're past peace. We're 40 years past peace. Okay, diplomacy's out the window in my mind.
It was funny. We complained so hard. They got rid of every tax and they kept a small tax on tea, and we're still like, no, fuck you.
Well, in that case too, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, we had that war, but we also did just pick up and go somewhere else at the end of it all.
Well, no, this was Britain's land. We took it from them. This was theirs.
Yeah, so see, that's why I'm like, I'm not caught up in my like revolutionary history.
The colonies were owned by Britain.
Yeah, there's British colonies. So we're subjects of the crown.
Yes.
We're subjects of
citizens and subjects of the crown.
King George at the time.
Yep.
One of the Georges. There's a lot of King Georges. They fucking love that name. It's even popular now. There's some of them are named George right now. Probably. I don't know. Maybe.
And not only was it our war, but you had France and Spain funding us.
Yeah.
It was a world war, and we don't talk about that.
And because we wanted to stick it to the English. Are you kidding me? The British, I mean.
Well, yeah, but they were like half a penny tax on a breakfast. Think of the French. Napoleon standing there. Half a penny tax on a breakfast beverage? Say less. Here's a whole bunch of guns and uniforms and troops.
This was before Napoleon's time, dude. Napoleon was right.
No, this was part of the Napoleon Wars.
No,
we are. Do your research.
No, Napoleon happened right after.
No. You're wrong. We'll convene next week, but do your research. No,
okay.
They literally
next week.
They literally teach it in Britain that the Revolutionary War was one of many wars of the series of the Napoleon Wars. It's one of the Napoleon Wars. That's why it's called that. This was a Napoleon War. We were one front. Napoleon was funding America.
Okay. Anyway, really quickly, yes, there is kind of a thing where it's like, it was flimsy. It was flimsy.
Okay, but now we're talking about starvation, poor education, becoming mindless workers. We're taxed. You're taxed when you get paid. The employer's taxed to pay you. Then you're taxed when you get paid. Then when you spend that money, you're taxed. Then when you buy a home, the money you use to buy that home is all sales. There's a different tax for that. Like on top of your payroll tax, and then you're paying property taxes on top of that. Then any repairs or renovations you make, you're paying taxes. And when you're buying material, you're paying taxes on buying the material. We are taxed 150 different ways. Compared to half a penny on a damn breakfast beverage. Let alone cops killing black people, fucking, all the other fucking problems we have. No,
there were also
we should be utilizing our Second Amendment
British
right now.
troops. The British troops also.
There was one incident in Boston.
They were allowed. They could just come in your house and be like, "Hey, we need to sleep here," and that legally they were allowed. They could just sleep in your house.
That can happen with martial law. We have laws like that here, Billy.
At least outside of martial law, there's an amendment. We have a specific amendment saying you cannot do that. You cannot force a citizen to make them accept you to you know what I mean? To make it where you live in their house.
Warranted searches is what you're talking about. That's that amendment. It covers police not entering your house without a warrant. But there's another part to that though. I lost that thought. Honestly, we need to wrap up. My brain just
we really need to wrap up. But anyway,
we'll reconvene next week.
We will. Yes,
definitely.
We'll pick
start where you left off.
If we remember. Let's be honest.
Oh, I remember.
Write that shit down.
Huh?
Write that shit.
All right.
Yeah. No, because this is a good conversation.
It is a really good conversation. I love.
Right.
Was the Revolutionary War justified? All right. So.
Of course. How dare you? That's not the question. The question is a new Revolutionary War justified?
Oh, that was the first. That's just a segment.
Oh, that's not even a debate. The first part was obviously justified.
But you just said half a penny tax on tea.
Exactly, and I think that was a worthy fight.
Oh my god.
I was never part of the debate. The debate now is, do we do it again?
As much as true. We'll remember the Cliff Notes. We'll remember. Yeah.
All right. Well, this has been Against the Grain.
Against the grain, motherfuckers. Yeah.
Y'all have a good rest of your day. Stay not woke.
Yep. Be mindful of everything.
Be mindful.
Make sure you wiped good. Yeah.
Get a bidet.
Yeah.